Previously, Rain's maid protected him from a man on horseback, who he later found out was the young master of the casinos. When they arrived at the casino, a staff member offered to help him and gave him 2 chips on the house. Unfortunately, it turned out to be a scam, and he lost. When Rain tried to leave for something to eat, the staff member stopped him, insisting that he needed to pay him back. The maid defended Rain, saying the staff member was scamming him. The staff member then turned to her, but Rain intervened. As people rushed to pick up the chips that had fallen, the young master arrived and asked what was going on. Now to this week's chapter. He looks down and notices a crowd scrambling to grab the fallen chips, but they stop as they recognize him as the young master of the casino. With a cold gaze, he orders his men to handle those who dared to steal from him and put them back in their place. 2 of his guards, visibly annoyed by the situation, step forward with a nod, ready to carry out his command. One person speaks up, saying they have learned their lesson and will not do it again, but one guard ignores this and deals with him anyway. Another person pleads for mercy, asking them to let him go, but the second guard steps forward and reminds him of who he is trying to steal from. The rest of the people in the casino watch the young master with fear, wondering if they, too, will be dealt with. His expression darkens, and he raises his voice, reminding everyone that if they do not follow his rules, they will have to face his guards. Lillian trembles in fear as she hides behind the maid, blaming herself for the situation. She believes it is all her fault because she was the one who brought him here, and if she had not, none of this would have happened. Her mind drifts to memories of his kindness, recalling how he was willing to help a child in need. Feeling the weight of gratitude and responsibility, she decides she must repay him for his kindness. Gathering her courage, she steps forward, knowing this is all she can do for Rain at the moment. Despite trembling in fear, she strives to appear brave and shouts that she will not allow the young master of the casino to scam Rain. Hearing her statement, the crowd becomes worried, recalling that those who have angered the young master in the past have often faced brutal consequences. Some wonder if it is all over for her now. The young master turns to her, visibly angry, and comments on what that little girl just dared to say to him. She steps in front of Rain and boldly states that his casino has scammed many people, claiming that his establishment has destroyed numerous families. Rain looks down at her, confused and concerned about her actions, but he also thinks that this might help his plan. Just then, the young master becomes furious at how a little girl like her dares to tell him what to do and lunges forward to grab her. She closes her eyes, bracing for the hit or the grip, knowing this outcome was possible and hoping it would help Rain. But when she feels no pain, she wonders why nothing has happened and cautiously opens one eye. To her surprise, it is Rain who has stepped in, grabbing the young master's arm, while standing there calmly. Confused, she looks at him and questions why he helped her, but Rain was too focused on what the system displayed. It stated that he was 23 and named Vesaroli Aldrin, with attributes of 46 in leadership, 68 in power, 59 in magic, 5 in loyalty, and 52 in wit. His special attributes were brutal and bloodlust. He thought to himself that not only were his traits concerning, but he also had a loyalty rating of 5. He realized that this loyalty was to his family, understanding that he needed to be careful, as his family might start a revolt against him. Vesaroli then questions him about what he is doing, noting that he does not seem to belong in this town and that he does not appear pleased with the way things are handled. Rain smiles as he releases Vesarol's arm, acknowledging that he is indeed not from these parts. He adds that he actually admires his philosophy that only the strong can survive in this world, saying that only the person who wins the fight gets the final laugh. Vesaroli smiles, confident that this person will pay for his insolence. He thinks about taking the maid and that little girl to make them work for him. Then, he declares that he will go against Rain and questions whether Rain knows who he is. But then, Rain's expression turns serious as he says he does not need to know who Vesaroli is and does not care. However, he adds that there is one thing Vesaroli should be happy about. He claps his hands together, signaling the start of his plan. Suddenly, soldiers burst through the doors, ready for battle. They line up behind Rain as he tells Vesaroli he should feel fortunate because he is playing by his rules. He confidently declares that he has won this fight and will get the last laugh, stating that his words are law. Vesaroli, confused by the sight of so many soldiers, thinks that Rain must be of royal blood. The scene shifts to the city lord's estate, where many nobles have gathered to see Rain. As they wait, one noble comments, hoping that Master Rain will take a liking to his daughter. Another noble turns to Mr. Lucas and mentions that he has heard Mr. Lucas has made a lot of money lately. Mr. Lucas smiles and thanks the city lord for his help, saying it was all thanks to him. Meanwhile, another man holding a drink overhears their conversation and thinks that Mr. Lucas wants his daughter to get along with Master Rain so that Rain's father will assist their family. He contemplates his own plans for Master Rain, recalling that he had paid someone to scare Rain a little during the banquet. The other man nods in agreement. Just then, a lady approaches him, lifting her glass for a toast. She smiles and states that the toast is for him, revealing that she knows about his plans and hopes they work out, as she stands to gain something, too. He smiles back, raising his glass in response. As he toasts her, his thoughts drift to Vesaroli. He wonders where the boy has gone and thinks that if Vesaroli were here, he could build a relationship with the Duke's son, which would help him gain some leeway. He then looks back at the city lord, realizing he cannot trust him because he is too weak and will break under questioning from the authorities. Just then, a staff member calls out to everyone, announcing that His Highness Rain Edgar has arrived. As the crowd begins to stir, Rain makes his way into the room. All the people waiting rush up to Rain one by one, eager to win his favor. One man smiles and introduces himself as the head of the Raven family, saying he has brought gifts for Rain. Another man steps forward, also smiling, and introduces himself as the head of the Rooster family, saying he has brought his daughter to introduce to Rain. Rain thanks them and comments that if everyone has arrived, he plans to start the meeting right away. Just then, two staff members bring in a massive board, and one of the onlookers questions what is happening. Rain smiles to himself, knowing that the next part of his plan is about to begin. As the board is set up and Rain walks in front of it, the people gather around, trying to see what the drawings on the board depict. One person whispers that it looks like a house, but just then, he strikes the board with a stick he is holding and states that this is a blueprint he drew in the afternoon for a dam. He emphasizes that this dam is what is needed to help improve the area. As the others listen in, one person wonders how this dam will actually benefit them. Rain reassures them that he will explain the details and calls for his maid, Leah, to bring him the map. She walks toward him and hands him the map. He places the map on the board and explains that he examined Ashling City's landscape earlier that afternoon. He points to a specific area on the map, stating that there is a great flood every year due to the river north of the city. He continues, saying that if they build a dam there, they can stop the floods during the rainy season and use the stored water for crops during the drought season. The head of the Edwin family is shocked by what Master Rain is saying and realizes that the dam will allow them to produce more crops by watering them during the drought. He thinks to himself that the Duke's son is not a simple man. Just then, one of the nobles steps forward and questions Rain about what is needed from them for his plan to succeed. Rain smiles and states that he just needs money for the project. As the noble hears the word money, he suddenly does not like the idea anymore. One by one, each noble comes up with an excuse, claiming they are too poor to help. Another noble agrees, echoing the same sentiment. The head of the Edwin family observes this and understands that while the idea is good, Rain is too naive. He realizes that the people in front of him will never contribute their own money but would be happy to take from others. He smiles and opens his arms, taunting them as he states that they act like they are poor. He then reveals that it does not matter because he has an idea on where he can get the money. He claims that he raided the casino that afternoon and gained about 50,000 gold coins from it. He taunts them further, questioning how much more money the other casinos might have and asking if anyone there knows. The nobles begin to panic, with one of them wondering to himself if Rain really did raid the casino. He worries that he will not get his share of the money this month. Meanwhile, another noble becomes scared, thinking about which casino Rain raided and hoping it is not the one he invested in. Just then, they both look back at Adrian Edwin, realizing that he owns all the casinos in the city. They worrying that Rain's actions will land him in serious trouble. Adrian, appearing calm, thinks that Rain is not very smart for attacking his casinos. He decides that he will not simply sit back and watch. Convinced that Rain has made a grave mistake by crossing him, he plans to ensure Rain's downfall. Adrian steps forward and addresses Master Rain, stating that his actions of raiding the casinos are breaking the laws of the Caradorial nation. Rain remains calm in response. The other nobles all agree with Adrian, insisting that Rain must not break the law. One noble states that he must do what is right, while another agrees that Adrian is correct. A different noble points out that the casinos are legal businesses and questions how Rain could so easily break the law. Despite their protests, Rain remains calm, understanding that all the nobles agreeing with Adrian are also part of the scam that the casinos run. Adrian watches as the nobles question Rain and thinks that he is too young to understand how to control people with words. Just then, Rain becomes serious and points out that they all pretended to be poor when he asked for donations, yet they still refused to help him despite having money. He reveals that he knows everything about their involvement in the casinos and states that he will give them one last chance to tell him the truth. Just then, many soldiers enter the room and block the doors. Rain states that they can either tell him the truth or he will let the soldiers question them instead. Adrian stands firm and responds that if his father, the Grand Duke, were to find out about his son's actions here, the Duke would not be pleased with him. As tension builds, many nobles scream for Rain to know his place and let them go, demanding that he back down. Rain just smiles and says that if they want to talk about the law, he thinks it is a great idea. He then looks at his soldiers and calmly commands them to detain everyone in the room. He adds that he will be happy to discuss the laws with them all. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like. It really helps me out.